They're trying to change the culture. And by doing so, after a big win, we on to the next one. Like accountability. I mean, it shows that the team got some maturity problems to kind of recover from last year being kind of an off year, but coming into this year and being able to kind of stay in football mode. It's only week one, not to celebrate so much.
So what you say, Terry? It's only week one. Y'all, champagne.
Exactly. It's only week one. But the bigger picture I thought of, so every athlete talks about how they want to play at the next level. And I saw another thing, the study table. Like Coach Canty's doing a very great job of getting his guys prepared for the next level. Like at the next level, you can't miss practice. You can't miss study tables. You can't miss mandatory tutoring. Like you cannot miss these things and expect to play. And he's being generous with a quarter, because when I played at Eastern, we had a quarter as well. But in college, they might send you home and you won't play at all the next game. So, I mean, it's very strict, and I think he's trying to establish some level of accountability and some order over there. They haven't played in a year and a half, and so I think a lot of these habits are starting to come out where they've been off. And a lot of them, you can't blame it because COVID, but at the same time, these are still your actions, and you got to be held accountable for. So big props to them. Even they don't care if it's a rivalry game. They want their players to follow the rules that they have established, and they are not going to take anything less than that.
Terry, so many great points, not surprising, and this is me not being patronizing. I mean, just before I go to Orlando, I mean, you're right. It's only week one. Two, all those guys, pretty much the majority of his coaching staff are college-level players, meaning they know what the standard is. And you're right, everybody want to say how they want to go to the next level. But two, what I really appreciate, and I'll go to you with this, Orlando, as a current coach right now, what I really appreciate is that he's willing to sacrifice a win to make a point. And it's not one of those points that he's making that's, just an egotistical point. But it's important, man. These guys got to know you don't do that, man. When you hear that, Orlando, about, a current coach, coming off a big win and sitting guys down, even if it can be to the detriment of keeping that record good. In football, unlike basketball, man, you want to run the table,
Yeah.
What does it make you think of? And tell me about the experience where you've had to address those kind of things or make those kind of decisions, or have heard of people having to do it.
And I take my hat off to him in doing so, especially in these days of COVID. Coaches have had to bend so much to accommodate this new generation and the things that they do and the things that occur. For him to really kind of set the record straight immediately and let them know, this is it. You either follow the script or move on. I take my hat off to him, because there's so many coaches out there that wouldn't. They wouldn't set down those guidelines and would just allow them to come to play because it's more about the record. He's building a program of young men and not just football players, and I take my hat off to him.
Let me challenge you, Orlando, just because I enjoy spending time with you. Think about one of them situations where you think and suspensions are appropriate, but you look at your personnel and you go, dang.
Yeah.
Or you go to your coaches, you go to your other coaches and be like, dang. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know what you got to do, but you think through. And at this time, Big T is coming on. Easy game for them tonight.
I got to take this one. So,
okay. What you got? I
think my dad brings up a decent point to look at. So check it. So they play Eastern High School, my alma mater. That's my high school. But so a lot of teams have in the past, in my playing years, have, like, even in the Dave Jones era when we played basketball, they take us lightly, and they use games like that for suspension games. I'm not saying Coach Canty is doing that.
I'm sorry. Hey, what'd you say? Those are either homecoming or suspension games.
But like that's a good point. But like, I mean, I think he's just trying to be funny. But that is something maybe. But I think Coach Canty is a lot more serious about turning it around for them to just be a suspension game. I think he really means it. And it doesn't matter who he's playing. East Lansing, DeWitt, he's going to follow his rules.
Yeah. Shout out to our extended member of the podcast, brother Aaron Mays. Appreciate you, man. Aaron said accountability the message has been sent early on, hold people accountable. So to bring you back in on that too, Orlando, it's kind of working out. And this is not to take anything from Eastern, because I'm part of the Eastern extended family. I used to get down with them on a regular. Actually, I was just on the phone with one of their principals today, as a matter of fact. What about if it's not the Eastern game, but it's the last game of the season for the chip? All these factors are in play. It's kind of like what happened when I don't have the visual, but I believe my girl Candace Parker, when they played a game, Terry, in Greater Chicago, which is where she's from, Pat Summitt gave him a strict curfew, like you back in at 10. Parker was like, I'm about to hang with my squad, as my homeboy Javin Foreman from Chicago said, I'm about to get my swerve on. So she missed curfew. Hey, what a Hall of Fame Pat do? Shut her down.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
Shut her down. Candace had the boo-boo face. So I say that to say people don't understand the challenges coaches go through, the pressure, Orlando.
Absolutely, the pressure to win.
Yeah,
especially at that level, the pressure is to win. And my thing is that you always look for, well, okay, is there another way I can punish him?
Oh no! You pull a Coach K, and we're gonna handle this in-house.
Right. Let's see if we can't find something outside of this to punish them. But when it comes,
is there ever? Okay, all right. Let's just play devil's. Let's stretch this out, and I'm gonna tell you a personal story. I think my mom may be watching too. Is there ever a better way to punish them that's more internal that we don't know about, other than the public display of, hey, look, this is gonna be out there for everybody to see? Is there ever a better way to punish players?
Oh, most definitely. I tell you right now, I have had my 150 laps in the gym days.
Oh wow! Well, I bet they would rather just sit out of court. Okay, hey, right on time with this one. Rules matter. Got to feel the punishment. Yeah, that's my mother. Let me tell the story why I got her here. Who knows? I'm happy to be a podcaster, sports psychology consultant. I had the career I'm having, but I think because of the decision my mama made, I could have went to the league when she took me from going to basketball camp, because I took the car keys, and when I wasn't supposed to, I didn't have my license yet, and I got busted. And she could have whooped me. She could have grounded me, but I was supposed to go back to Eastern Michigan for my second week at camp, and all the coaches was looking for me and everything. And she said, I got to do it. So she went there. But you know what? I'm grateful. It's like, to your point, Orlando, you got to hit them where it hurt.
You got to hit them hurt. And Lindsay, this is always, and my wife and I always talk about this.
Shout out to Michelle.
Yeah, especially in the educational system. So we always see all of these kids, and DPS is real good for it. They will suspend them, hit them with a week suspension. Well, that's not a punishment for them.
Oh, for something they did in school.
Something they did in school. They get moved off from school. What kind of punishment is that?
Yeah.
And you get that. I'm no. Send them to me. I know how to punish them. Don't give them 2-3 days off of school.
Yeah.
They sitting there playing 2K.
Exactly. On their phones and all that. So what I will say to Jaleel, who has nothing but a great future in his coaching, the challenge is on him is to keep that up, because people are going to always remind him. And, hopefully he won't be hit with a situation where somebody does that. She said, hey, Yvonne, my BFF. Mama, you shouting out people ain't even on here right now. It's okay. She shouting out our friend Yvonne. Shout out to Yvonne. Love Yvonne to death. But that's something we got to come back. Shout out to, again, Coach Jaleel Canty. Keep it up. Y'all get y'all butts to practice, man. Win or lose, show up to practice. That's it. Absolutely. We're going to move on to the next issue that has really been buzzing and been percolating lately right now, and that is the new selection of Alan Haller as the new athletic director. There he is. Thank you, at Michigan State. Let me just say this. I know this brother. I've been able to spend some time. He's a hardworking brother. I've been in this company. He doesn't share a lot of words, but that's what probably happened when people are on their way to become an athletic director at one of the biggest, most influential universities in the country. However, as we congratulate him, as everyone did on my social media when we put that story out there, shout out to Chris Solari with the Free Press. I love Chris. He broke the story about that. But people need to know some other things. This brother got a $30 million deficit he has to deal with. So as we're giving him all these accolades, Terry, and everyone, because he's from Lansing. He went to Lansing Sexton. Shout out to Sexton. He played there. He played in the league. He's a Michigan State man. But just as y'all congratulating him, if y'all get a phone call or email about a fundraiser, y'all need to do something. Because what I do not want, Orlando, is that this African American who's been selected to be the 20th athletic director for Michigan State, I do not want him to be held to a standard of accountability that does not take into account that he inherited a $30 million deficit.
Yeah.
Okay. And he losing programs. The swim program, men's and women's swim program is gone. And you got still people arguing for that. And here's a point of clarity. And I'll go to you, Terry, because I know you got ties and love Michigan State as well. Everybody's saying, well, Matt Ishmael just gave that $30+ million.
Yeah.
That was earmarked for football. Okay. When I say earmark, I'm not insulting anyone's intelligence. When I say that money can't go anywhere else. It's going to football. It's going to a facility. That's like saying we got some bills that's due. But what about that money you got? Well, that money right there is to build the garage. They can't go over here.
Right. So Lindsay, you say you keep saying throwing out the number, that 30 million. That number really is 80 million. Because last year they cut 50 million.
That's
so
right.
let's really blow the numbers up to what it actually is.
So what? And I know you know about numbers. Oh, you stay on top of those numbers. So when we talk about someone taking on this role, and one thing that African Americans, and I'll just go there, have not had the biggest experience in mass is fundraising, is development. Terry, we were talking offline about some creative things he can do. And I just want people to just know, man. And also I want people to get behind him and support him when the media makes their rounds from holding him up as, the new golden child. I say that with all due respect, to getting into him about accountability when programs and things aren't the way people expect them to be at Michigan State. And one more person I want to shout out to before we let Terry take over. Bill Beekman. Hey, that's a smooth cat. And I say this with all due respect to Bill Beekman. I've enjoyed my encounters with him, but Bill Beekman has been part of Michigan State family for a very long time. But I think Bill Beekman saw the writing on the wall. He said, dude, let me quit before I get fired. He was getting a salary of $750,000. Oh, me and you can make something work with that, right? Yeah. Very good too. And it got reduced in half to $350 if I'm doing, or $375 if I'm doing the math correctly. And he gets to go in a newly created position that's really going to just keep him out the way and keep him straight. But my concern, Terry, is that we celebrate Alan Haller now, and in 2 to 3 years, with the challenges that may come with that deficit that both Orlando and I mentioned, we start to crucify that brother. I just want people to remember what he came in there with. So with that, Terry, I'll defer to you. What is your thought on what's going on? And I know you have some creative thoughts, too, about some other potential fundraising opportunities that may be able to help when we deal with this name, image, and likeness. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think in regards to Alan Haller, like, big congrats. I mean, talk about a guy who's paying dues. Like, he's done so much work for the MSU program that's behind the scenes. Like, he's done so much work, soft-spoken, but he's stepping into a large role. He's the head guy now. People report to him. And so that's huge for him, a Lansing grad. So I think that this scenario reminds me a lot of the Coach Tucker situation, kind of hopping in with what Coach D'Antonio kind of had left for him, like players, not to mention funding, COVID year, like kind of scenarios where we were saying the same stuff. Like, look, Coach Tucker is still having to adapt to this stuff. He doesn't have his players. He doesn't have his team. He just met these guys in the spring. And so I think, to be optimistic here, I'm really optimistic because this is a perfect scenario for a guy with his toughness and his mental toughness. People speak highly of Alan Haller. Like, my mom was telling me, like, everyone was like, man, I love that guy. I love that guy. Such a good, genuine guy. And I think this is a good position for him to kind of rebuild that conversation, rebuild that relationship between the football and the basketball program from the head guy. Because remember, we talked about a couple of weeks ago that tension was kind of going pretty hard and they weren't speaking. You know what I mean? And so I think Alan Haller, a guy that's been around, kind of can meet with Coach Izzo, Coach Tucker. And I think Coach Tucker will love Haller. Haller has a lot of passion.
Hell yeah, he love him. He helped him get the job.
He better love him.
He flew in on the jet, yeah.
So it's like, what a better scenario for two men. And speaking football right now, of course, Izzo loves his team. He's rebuilding them this year. What a better scenario for a guy, basically coming in with some momentum. He's been around there, and now he gets to fully take over for something that he's been waiting and deserves.
Yeah, well said. Our brother in waiting, Aaron Mays, made a good point, but at least Haller is not coming in cold. Yep. He's very much aware of the situation at hand, and hopefully he has a plan to attack. I'm sure he does. He went down to Clemson a couple years ago with Coach D'Antonio and others, and they looked at Clemson's $55 million expansion to their football facility. If you go on the Detroit Free Press website, you can look at about a 7-minute video that he's showing the blueprints. But I think the sad part about life and the political nature of things is, Aaron, just as you make that excellent point, people are trying to hold that against him. Oh, we need to get away from these same. MSU was a family, man. And at the end of the day, if you want to see loyalty, look at Michigan State. And some can argue loyalty to a fault, but from the time that they got rid of former athletic director Hollister, got in, brought in former Governor John Engler, another Michigan State man, and then they just brought in Beekman from within. Was going to bring Izzo in for about 2 or 3 hours, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot. I know what that was. Izzo wanted to check the box and say, look, I did this thing before. I just think of something he said, but, I congratulate Allen. I got a quick story about Allen. You're right. He is very mild-mannered, Terry, but he and I both were part of what's called Dapper Dads. It's a fundraiser that Kozacek's Menswear, fine menswear in downtown Lansing puts on, and we both were out there, and we were kind of hustling up money for charity, and at the time, I think Madeline was maybe 3 years old. When she got on stage with me, what'd you say, Aaron? Hey, that MSU Mafia is real. Mafia is real. Yeah, everybody, yeah. And Allen was like, man, I got to get something popping. And Allen went out there and did a little move. He had a suit on. He kind of broke it down, so he got loose real quick. But the brother definitely radiates with corporate as well as connectability. I want to wish him the best luck. I would just love when I see him low-key walking into the Breslin during the game, kind of sitting off the side, keeping an eye on things. He's always around, keeping an eye out. So I just want everybody to support him. So before we go to break, Orlando, just what's your take? I mean, you've been watching this, you've been reading those numbers. I mean, you're a numbers guy, man. I mean, it's great to get the job, man, but damn, when work start on Monday.
Oh yeah, but I think they picked the right candidate. He's a homer. We talk about deficits and downfalls and money. If that comes up, I think the first thing that he's going to go back to is, you guys spent $75,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, $75,000 to look down the hall to find me, which is ridiculous.
Right.
Somebody just got paid off. You know what I'm saying?
They got 35 racks on the front end. They probably got the
front end, and they get ready to find somebody that I can scream out my office. Yeah. But I think the right choice was made. I think you need the person that knows the program inside and out. You need that individual that has these relationships, because there's going to be some belt tightening. Because I would guarantee you the sports that were cut last year, they will be back. There's going to be the pressure on him. Already. And he's going to bring them back. But everybody else is going to have to make that sacrifice to bring them back until they can come up with a solution.
So let me ask you this before we go to break, Orlando. So with that, how much pressure is on him to lead winning programs? Is it get the money right or win? I mean, or when you get rabid fans, or as Aaron says, that MSU Mafia life, they don't really care. I mean, is it going to be the fiscal conservatives who want to see the budget in the black, or, cats like, I don't care what the budget is as long as we get these titles?
I think it's twofold. I think he's got to do both.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to get the numbers right, and he's got to bring the wins. He's got to do both, which is an extremely difficult thing, and he's going to be dependent. He's going to have some hard decisions coming up. Has Izzo been there too long?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to make these type of decisions.
Dude, he can't be the dude to fire Tom Izzo. I mean,
let's be real. Let's be real. Nobody can fire Tom Izzo.
He got to resign.
It's going to be his decision. But he may be that guy.
You know what? The only way
that guy to have to convince Tom.
You know the only way he can convince Tom that it's time to go if he say he go my chair and give Tom his chair.
Yeah.
That's the only I'm saying it now. That's the only way Tom is going to transition. And I don't know what job Allen can get at age 50. I did see this too. That MS, with the exception of Biggie Munn, that MSU AD position, that's a 5-year job on average. For the past 20 years, Terry, that's all you see is that. So we'll definitely see. And the last thing I'll say before we go to break, I'll introduce our listeners, if they're not familiar, to a term called the Sword of Damocles. And by the time we get back from break or later in the show, I'll show you a visual. And it's the fictitious mythological sword that sits over the head of powerful men and, of course, women, in particular, the president. The most powerful man in the world, Terry, is the president of the United States. But even though with all that power, there's this imaginary sword that hangs on the string over his head. And the reminder is that no matter how powerful you are, the slightest thing can end it. So with Allen,
that's a good point.
He's the man. He's the man. He's the man. He's the man, you know. But with this deficit, with MSU needing to solidify wins, I think the Sword of Damocles hangs over his head as well. And be careful what you ask for because you might get it. So we'll come back to that. We're going to take a quick break. Again, I want to shout out to Horatio Williams Foundation and all their support. Shout out to our guy H looking out for us and holding us down. Gilead Sciences as well. Before we get out of here, do you want to talk about the basketball and the different programming we're looking at doing leading up to basketball to try to let some people know there's a chance they can kind of get in on some new opportunities?
Absolutely. And I wish I didn't even think to upload the flyer. If you, I tell you what, let's wait till a little later in broadcast for the
we'll bring it up, and we'll better find it.
Bring it up, and we can describe it.
Yeah, we'll have our listeners hold on. Then also, we'll also be at the SPS Stars Showcase over at Harper Woods, looking to have some great young men and women coming out. We're looking to have some great coaches, some great leaders, some great evaluators. Check us out. It's going to be a good thing. And with that, we'll let Team Michigan take us away with the Booster Bowl.
Breaking news. Team Michigan Basketball is presenting a series of basketball tournaments at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Get your teams registered today. The first tournament in this series is coming this Halloween weekend. Visit boosketball.com or teammichiganbasketball.com for more information.
That's right. Basketball is going to be a good old time, man. So those of you guys that join us, our live broadcast may have been a little delayed, but hey, check us out. You know, it happens like that. We out here in cyber world, but we're going to keep things going with the show. Again, we miss our guys, John. We miss Patrick. We know Aaron Mays is not too far away. Biggie Smalls had a song that came out that was controversial. It came out after Tupac got shot, called "Who Shot You?" And this one, I want to say the same kind of line. Cam got cut. Cam got cut. Breaking news, man. You know, before I go to the question, Terry, everyone's begging, like, is Cam done? I think it kind of goes in line with accountability and at the starting level of high school football with Everett and Coach Canty making that decision to do that. I mean, with Cam, I'm a Cam fan, first of all. Not necessarily a Cam dressing fan. I'm not knocking him, but I'm a Cam fan. Seeing that, man, it's like, was there anything that could have been done to prevent that? This is just the highs and lows of the game. I mean, we once had Cam like this. He gets cut. I know when he comes out and speaks. I know when he talks, it's going to be smooth with whatever he says. But just when you heard about that news, Cam got cut. I mean, did he play one season too long? Or what do you think his last game is going to eventually be like? Is he done? Somebody said he was done, but I want to know what you think, Terry.
I mean, with Cam last year, I feel like, you know, just coming into the draft this past year, I mean, anytime you draft a quarterback in the first round as your first pick of the year, that kind of pretty much explains itself. But I thought Cam didn't do too bad last year. I mean, obviously he had that Sunday night game that went down to the wire against the Seahawks, and he had some highs and lows throughout the year, but I can't really blame him for last year because a lot of guys were out due to COVID. He had no offensive weapons at all, like none to be found. Defense was hurt all year and out for COVID. Stephon Gilmore here and there. Like the team last year, the Patriots team last year was really discombobulated. Like it
quick question. I want to interject, Terry, to your point. And you said the magic word. Will we be saying something different if it wasn't the Patriots and Bill Belichick?
Yes and no, because I mean stability is what we're known to see from Belichick, no matter who the quarterback is. But he's had Brady for the longest, so I'm thinking that a lot of people were expecting Cam to beat Tom, which we knew that wasn't going to happen. But I mean, Cam Newton was kind of under, guns were at his head from the get-go. Because one, he's Cam Newton and he's outgoing, and we've never seen that in a Patriots uniform before, ever. We've never seen a Patriots guy be out talking whatever freely. But still under the Patriots code of conduct, what I like to call over there, they follow the rules over there.
So you call it code of confidence? What do you call it?
Code of conduct. I said the Belichick code of conduct. So, I mean, Cam is a one of a kind player, but anytime you draft a quarterback first round, Mac Jones, definitely a system quarterback. They felt like they got
and to Mac Jones' credit, Mac is balling. Let's just give him his due.
Yeah, he is, and he's in probably one of the best. I would say out of all the quarterbacks, he's probably in the best situation right now. I mean, to have the quarterback that you were supposed to learn from be cut, and now all eyes are on you. And
I'll add this part, and this is not even to be conspiratorial.
Yeah.
But his former coach is his current coach's man.
That's true. That's true.
As John would put, Nikki and Bill are like these. So it only helps that you playing well. That's like Orlando having a player. That's like my daughter playing for Orlando. It's like, it's gonna be straight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On top of that, but go ahead, please.
Yeah, and so I mean that also didn't help. That wasn't in Cam's favor, but I also didn't really feel like Cam really fit their system. Cam is more of a long shot, go deep kind of player, scrambles, give you some yards, but the Belichick offense was kind of catered to like, let's get, 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of thing, short yard passing routes and stuff like that. That's not really Cam's game. We've always seen him throw the long ball, get extra yards running, or kind of extend plays. And so I just feel like it wasn't a good fit, but also the year before, how it was wasn't the ideal year for someone coming into their first season with a different team. So I can't really blame Cam. And as he said, don't feel sorry for me. So he's still going to keep working. And I mean, like he said, I don't feel sorry for him, but I hope the best for him. It was a tough situation to come after Tom Brady.
Yeah. Very well put, always. So, Orlando, here's my question to you, along with what you want to share. It's kind of refreshing, as crazy as this may sound, that Cam got cut. And that's a horrible sentence to put together without adding some context. But Terry kind of helped me when he said, Cam said, don't feel sorry. I mean, that is a reminder how these games go. Just as we hold you up, baby, it comes back around. And Cam has a great attitude about it, but it's like, this is what happened. So when you heard the news that Cam got cut, as a coach, what do you think? I mean, I don't know where Cam rates on your fan meter, what I'm saying, whatnot, but just what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, he's a solid player, solid athlete. And I have to agree with Terry. From Jump Street, it wasn't a good fit.
It was a COVID fit. It was a COVID era fit.
Right. It really wasn't a good fit. And we know what's going on in New England. He's in a position where they got to win. They got to win now. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, especially now that Brady got his, now I got to get mine.
Yeah, that artificial pressure.
Yeah, to prove that it wasn't.
Which is the worst sometimes. That's the worst pressure.
Right. So, and at the end of the day, it's a business. And I have to agree with him. I don't feel sorry for him. He got a nice big check.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? He got paid for his service.
So is he gonna get picked up within? I was My only concern about posting what I posted when I did, and telling you guys in the pre-show lineup that this is what we go discuss. I'm like, dang, he might be playing for a different team by the time the show come on. So, do you think he's going to end up playing? He'll sign with somebody else for the remainder of the season?
Hell, the Lions would do good to sign him.
That's what everybody was saying.
I was about to say them, or I could see maybe Atlanta for some depth.
Right.
I mean, they just brought up Josh Rosen on their 53-man roster, but AJ McCarron, who is the Falcons' backup quarterback, is out for the year. And so I think what Cam could fit there, maybe he might end up in Houston if Deshaun Watson doesn't come back.
What about going to Jacksonville with the Jags? Is that too controversial?
I feel like because they traded Gardner Minshew to the Eagles, I feel like they're kind of like set in stone like Lawrence. But I guess it wouldn't hurt to have a backup. But I see him on Houston or Atlanta.
Dang, Aaron, you must be getting checks to do this. You make an excellent point.
That's a good point.
Cam was done in Carolina when he hurt his shoulder, and maybe we got to wait for the tell-all book to come out because you're right. He was playing through that pain. He probably got all those accolades. He didn't want to rely on that. And then I really want to hear what those so-called COVID violations really were.
Yeah.
If that was part of the cover, or that was him having a hell of a PR team. And it's unfortunate because of the tragedy COVID has brought in so many people's lives, but it'll eventually come out because I think Cam is so loquacious and he wants to speak and he's well-spoken. I hate saying that about another black man. It sounds so, anti-stereotypical, but the time is going to come for that. Man, let's keep it popping. We're going to keep moving on. This is kind of the set tripping star. I ain't trying to start none, man, but there used to be Bloods and Crips, but this is like blue on blue, man. We got some potential blue on blue violence going on right now. What's up? Hey, is Big Blue ducking Amazing Blue? What's going on, man? I need to know what's going on, Terry. I mean, you hear what happened. They were supposed to play last season. All right, COVID. They are scheduled to play in 2022 in London, but for some reason that I still couldn't wrap my mind around or understand, they're not going to play this season. And then you had Hunter Dickinson talking trash like, hey, man, what's up? We want that smoke. What is going on? Is Cal – is his recruiting class not like he wanted and he got to back up? I mean, what is going on, man? And Big Blue, they travel well too, man. Like, what is the deal there? What you know? I was hoping John was going to be able to.
Oh, yeah, John probably had it all.
I know John know what's up.
No, I mean, right now I have no sympathy for Michigan at all. And it's not because I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm still, you know what, because Kentucky's reason, and I did a lot of reading on this, that they have problems with scheduling. So, you know what?
Problems with scheduling, Terry. What does that mean?
The same thing like I was told Michigan and Ohio State this past year, just trust their word.
Hey, hold on for a second. Hey, hold on. Hey, Orlando.
Yes,
you notice when Terry is talking that his face kind of turns to the side a little bit and his whole kind of profile change. He's like, well, hey, this is what I heard.
Hey, they told me last year, when Michigan couldn't play due to COVID the whole year because they weren't doing so good, they said it's COVID. They said trust their word. I said, okay, remember this. So
I get this now. This is Terry. I'm concerned about your bias. I'm concerned because I was trying to let it be basketball, but this kind of goes back to the Ohio State, the Michigan comment, but it's Michigan. I thought Dwyane was your guy, man. Like no bet.
All serious, no. I think
I'm messing with you.
All serious. I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't make this work. I think it's a great opportunity to get some revenue, to get some fans. Get these guys some exposure.
But that's the word though, in a bad sense.
Yeah,
they're worried about it being exposed. I don't know anything about Kentucky's class right now. And then Dwyane is spanking cats, man.
Yeah.
And you talk about a Calipari who they say he's a coach at Kentucky for life, but you got to think about it. And I'm a John Calipari fan. I'll tell you guys my John Calipari story when we get off air or whatnot. But you wonder if the John Caliparis, and I'm gonna go back to you, Terry, if the John Caliparis and the Tom Izzo's Orlando are shaking in their boots with big 6'10" Juwan Howard coming through. Because he's saying for all this time, you guys were held up as the best of the best. Y'all Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
But look at me in this time and what I'm getting done. And lastly, when African Americans didn't get these head coaching jobs, with the exception of the Tubbies, and also individuals like I can go on and name a lot of black coaches, if you will, the Cheneys or whatnot. Look what he has done in so short a time. And it's saying, what was so special about you guys as white males, as coaches, that Dwyane could come in and do that? So I just throw that out there and let you get back to your points, Terry.
That's a good point. I mean, I think Howard wants this game. One, not only to prove again that last year wasn't a one-hit wonder. And, I mean, the year before that, he had a lot of fuel coming up into this year because Michigan was really hot. They had that game against in Atlantis where they beat Gonzaga, beat UNC. They were on a roll. So that's where I think he really got his momentum going off in that battle for Atlantis. And so now it's like Coach Howard is got a lot of momentum. They lost last year in the Elite Eight, but he still sees progression. He got a good recruiting class coming in. And I always, it's so hard when you have a class like Kentucky, they call them scared, you never know. But it seems like, why would you run from this? Because, I mean, you have the Champions Classic in the beginning of the year, and now you have a chance to play another marquee game in the middle of the year to kind of battle test your guys for the tournament. So, I mean, I just don't understand why they wouldn't want to play. It's so weird that they're not really giving out the details. They're kind of just saying scheduling issues.
Hey,
Which
I
makes
understand.
me think that
I understand.
they're scared. It's like, schedule the game.
I understand, Terry.
It's like what? It's like, what does that mean? But I think it's some BS that they can't get that game going, because I think that's going to be a good game for both teams. A battle test game can never go wrong.
Hey, we go figure out what's going on, Orlando. What is the deal? What is the deal? We had Terry's perspective.
Terry says he doesn't understand. I understand. It's very simple.
What?
One word. Cowards.
Ooh.
Cowards.
Ooh.
I'm letting you know right now, they're sitting down there. Analytics is the game right now.
So they're seeing the numbers.
They're looking at the numbers. They're looking at the SEC. They're looking at their games. They're looking at possible wins, possible losses. It all calculates in. They don't want to take that chance.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. Risk and reward.
Right.
And because Cal is probably not worried about job security, he don't got to go out there and jump in front of a train.
No.
That amazing blue train.
No, and it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It leaves us to wonder why, but we know why. Let me step back from this. Because statistically, they throwing that spreadsheet in front of them. Look here, if we don't play Michigan, we stand a better chance of making it to, going further.
Right. Look what we'll be able to accomplish.
Right.
That's unfortunate that we've gotten to this point, Orlando, and I do not doubt what you're saying, because I know that Cal is very numbers orientated. He's an analytics guy. He was bringing that from the NBA standpoint in when he was having pretty much those combines in his practices, and the numbers just don't look good, right. And he don't have the pressure on him from his fan base to have to do something. That's what we'll see. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, see what's going on with that blue versus blue. How about we take another quick break, and then we come back. And actually, Orlando, I do have that document that gives more information about what's going on. Do you want to take us into that as it relates?
I will take you into it. So we've talked about basketball for a long time. It's
coming basketball.
Basketball. www.basketball.com. Well, we decided, thanks to our sponsors, Bridgewater Interiors, hoopcoach.com, of course, the SPS Edge and Moneyball Sportswear, we wanted to give 4 registration scholarships. And so we're very happy to announce we're holding a contest. And the first 4 teams to actually complete 2 tasks that we asked them to will have their registration fee waived. The first thing we want you to we want the following post to be made on the team's social media account. Can your team beat ours? Let's find out. We're attending basketball October 29th. My phone just went on. October 29th through 31st at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. The second, we want each player to post on their social media account. My coach loves his team and our parents. We are competing at basketball October 29th through 31st, 2021, being held at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. And the first 4 teams to complete this task and emails proof that they've done it to info@teammichiganbasketball.com will have their fee registered to what we think will be one of the best tournaments held this year. And shout out to a few of the teams that I've already started getting emails from. Shout out to the Tri-County Cobras. I'm getting feedback from their parents. A couple of their kids, a couple of those parents don't want their kids to have social media accounts, so they were posting it on their own.
Oh, the parents were doing it.
Oh yeah, the parents were doing it and sending me copies. So it's really great. So we're looking forward to seeing the Detroit Bulldogs, Tri-County Cobras. We've got a ton of teams lining up. So we're waiting on your team.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on it. That's for basketball. Again, love our sponsors. Without the sponsors, we couldn't do what we do. Want to shout out Horatio Williams, of course. Shout out Gilead Sciences as well. Dick's Sporting Good. And, with SPS Edge, we're going to be in Detroit on Saturday. And we'll give you one more shout out to Team Michigan. And
you know who it is, baby. And I'm here to tell you about the new youth basketball tournament in Michigan. Team Michigan basketball has done the work. It's prime time. They are PTPers, baby. Get ready for a scary good basketball tournament Halloween weekend at the venue of all venues, Baby Grand Traverse Resort. I'm talking about a diaper dandy, baby. I mean awesome with a capital A. A basketball tournament that is designed with the entire family in mind. Escape to a 900-acre northern Michigan resort just outside of Traverse City. Enjoy 54 holes of championship golf, spa, indoor-outdoor tennis, indoor water playground, fitness center, private beach club, 4 restaurants, shopping, and now basketball. I can't wait, baby! It's the stay to play that will make your day! Halloween weekend 2021. Check it out at www.boosketball.com. Register your team soon. This one is going to fill up quickly. A basketball tournament at a resort. That's a slam, bam, jam, baby!
that's right, y'all. That basketball. And if you guys wondering what those chimes were, that was me sending little kids to Boy Scout camp, doing something charitable. No, I'm just joking. That was me having some issues in the back, trying to figure it out. But we're back, guys, with the last part of our show. I can't tell you how much we're missing. The Rutherford guys, both John and Patrick. We got Aaron be standing by. But I got something that's right up your alley, Terry. We're talking about some college football, man. We want to do some college football power ranking and talk about that a little bit. When you hear about that, whether it's the first 4, the first 12, who are you thinking right now for this season, starting the season, and those who start the season on top? Do you see them ending the season on top?
The team that is getting a lot of buzz that I don't think should any year is Georgia, because Georgia consistently, they do this every year. And you know what? They have somebody that's like the best quarterback ever in their eyes. It's their year. They get top recruiting classes, but can never seem to finish it off. And a lot of it has to do with coaching. Like, I don't think people realize that, like, recruiting and coaching are 2 different things. Like, you could be the best recruiter. How many times have we seen Tennessee have top 10 recruiting class but finish bottom of the SEC? Like, it doesn't matter. And so I think that part to me is interesting. I think JT Daniels, their starting quarterback, can be good, but can Georgia finish it off? Last year they lost to South Carolina. They always had these hiccup games that ended up preventing them from running the table. And so I think, with them having a tough schedule, I don't know. I think a lot of teams are going to be battle tested this year. As you see with the Big Ten starting tonight, Ohio State battle tested on the road, starting center out, and Michigan State battle tested. We're seeing a lot of good conference games from the beginning. I think it's interesting that, the Big Ten teams are so close to each other in the rankings, because I really do believe that everyone else other than maybe Ohio State they're all neck and neck, like Penn State and Wisconsin. That's going to be a great game in the first week. And this first week is going to be so crucial to the Big Ten standings, because as we know, it can come down to one win that keeps a team out of the playoff, out of the Big Ten championship game. So teams like Iowa, Indiana, Big Ten, Wisconsin, Penn State, those games have some high, have some high expectations. So I think it's really going to be cool with that. And not to mention Georgia, Clemson, week 1 prime time. I can't wait for it. I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm always reminded with football, being a real basketball guy, like how you have, with the exception of like that Champions Classic that we're going to see at State Farm's piece, you'll have like a big game with big implications right at the start of the season. You know what I'm saying? And it just forces you to be in a mindset with football like, hey, man, we got to get it how we got to get it. Oh, I know you quick to put the ball in the hoop, but just what's your take, if anything, on this college football season, these power rankings?
That's more Terry's, but field. But I'm a Georgia boy. My folks from Athens. I got family down there. So
I'm just curious, in your time, is it just Georgia Bulldog, just like wallpaper everywhere?
Everywhere.
Wow.
So look, Terry, I get what you're saying. And, we're looking at power rankings. I really think that Georgia, in the rankings, what they're number 4, I think they deserve it. They've got a solid offense coming back. I think the only thing that's questionable is their secondary at this point. That's their soft spot. That's their weakness. But other than that, you can't deny the fact that JT Daniels and that offensive crew can do damage.
Are they gonna let them know? Because Kirby Smart gets into this old methodical offense where Georgia football, they run, and they become predictable. Like I don't know if he's trying to establish a running game or not. It seems like their offense is so predictable to where, like, they're coming into a game and you're going against Alabama. Alabama prepares you, they study you night and day. You got to come in with something different. You're not going to be able to just run the ball. They're kind of like the Patriots. Like they want to take away what you do best. And so with how Georgia's been calling their plays these last couple of years, it doesn't matter who they have on there. We're talking about the same Georgia team that picked Jake Fromm over Justin Fields. Like it just seems like Georgia is just making decisions where, like, their defense is top notch every year. I do think that their secondary has took a hit this year. So I think that's something that's going to keep them in there, but they have a ton of talent. I just think that the coaching they have to expand their playbook a little bit. Let JT be that Heisman finalist that everyone's predicting them to be. And I think he has a chance to, because of the schedule and who they're playing against. Like, competition is a big key of going into the Heisman and the Heisman finalists in that show, because I mean, just based off who you play and how you play, can easily win you the Heisman. And we've seen it time and time again with even last year, Devontae Smith.
Yeah, Terry, man, you can do a one-man show when it comes to this college football.
Let me just make one quick question while we're on that topic. So, because my question mark with the power rankings is really, and I'm really interested in hearing Terry's thing on Iowa State.
Iowa State. So Iowa State, they have a really good running back this year. So Iowa State's in a predicament where they have to keep going what they did last year. Last year, they were in the Big 12 championship game, played against Oklahoma, lost that game in a big-time bowl game, played decent. But I think Iowa State, I don't think they're that good. They're in the Big 12. The Big 12, you're going to have games where you have these games off. And then sometimes in the Big 12, all the time in the Big 12, they don't play defense. And so whenever you play teams and you're scoring 60 points a week, is that really getting you ready to play Ohio State? I mean, that doesn't help at all. And I think, for Iowa State, I think that I think that they'll be battle tested for sure against Oklahoma. But I think that we see time and time again, a Big 12 team is going to play somebody on a Thursday. It could be West Virginia, TCU. They're going to play somebody where they just get outscored. It's really the first one to score 60 in that league. So I don't think Iowa State is going to make it in there. They're going to fall short again.
Yeah, and so that's my whole thing. Then how do they end up, 5, 6, 7 in the rankings? I get it. They had a good season last year.
Yeah.
But so we'll see.
Their running back is supposed to be really good this year. I think he'll be really good. They don't play defense, so his stats are going to be tremendous. But I think Iowa State is in a sense of where there's a lot of hype around them. I think you got to include the Big 12 too, because they made it that far and they were pretty good last year. Their quarterback's decent, pretty good.
Yeah, it's decent. So my whole thing is that Breece Hall at running back elevates you to number 5. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous.
I think they're too high. I think they're about 9, 10 in my opinion. Right. I think Sam Howell from North Carolina, I think that's a team to watch for. But like I said, these teams from the outside looking in, all those teams are going to be playing somebody that's in that top 4. So they're going to have to. Can North Carolina beat Clemson? Can Iowa State beat Spencer Rattler in Oklahoma? There's a lot of question marks with these teams, and so
right.
and like that's my prediction. No,
right.
So they're going to be. I feel like the top 4 is where people are talking about. We see it on TV, and then the last 5 through 10, it's like we feel like putting Notre Dame here, or we feel like putting Iowa State here. They kind of just pick and choose when they feel like picking teams. The criteria is pretty loose on that part, and so I think that North Carolina, Iowa State, Notre Dame, those are the teams where like, can they beat that top dog in their schedule to kind of give them the edge? And they can't. It's every year. Cincinnati in the same way. They can't. I'm sorry.
Cincinnati, Oregon, Cincinnati, Oregon, Iowa, LSU,
Texas A&M with Alabama. They play Alabama, Auburn, exactly. All of them. They play them all. Right. So it's like they got to beat that top dog to get top dog recognition. They have to. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Right.
Roderick Wilson, my guy, my wartime consigliere, says no doubt he's a savant. You know what I'm saying? That's a distinguished scientist. And Big T, Terry McCord Sr. says Georgia opens up against Clemson. We'll see off the rip. You're right. Those
right off the rip.
That's one of those games. You're like, man, that's like circle your game out the gate. Well, job well done. We're going to better appreciate, watching college football and getting Terry's great insight on Orlando, what you share about it too. We'll get to the last segment for today. It's been a great show, no doubt. And somebody I am a fan of personally is young Rondo. Rondo back in the building. Hey, that was like, Rondo, just hold on, be cool, go do your thing, and we're going to bring you back so we can run it back. So my question to the panel is, Rajon Rondo coming back to the Lakers, is that the key to help them win another title? Terry, you seem like you holding something back. You say you're going to hold it back, Terry. What you think, Terry, about about young Rondo coming back?
Rondo's an interesting guy. We see time and time again where Rondo's been on a contending team. He's looking like his old self.
Hey, the only player that won rings with the Lakers and the Celtics.
Exactly. Like, he's on contending teams.
Oh, he's like, that's like dope. For real.
But it's tough. This is where Rondo's legacy can be put in question, though. So Rondo gets a lot of credit for being high IQ point guard.
No doubt.
But he gets on teams where he tries to mentor younger guards, and it just doesn't seem to work. I don't know if he doesn't really want that role, because he was with Trae Young in the Hawks. He got that nice deal over there. He goes to the Clippers. We've seen a couple of disputes with Kawhi, Paul George, and Rondo on the sideline, which no biggie. But it just seems like Rondo needs to be in a situation where he can just fulfill his role and be that IQ guy and kind of put his 10 cents in there instead of being like the go-to mentor.
I don't disagree with that. And you may say Chris Paul and Phoenix short of their championship, but tell me, Terry, in recent time, where has that happened at? Where a veteran point guard comes in, mentors a guy to win a chip. Everybody can say, oh, yeah, CP3, Devin Booker. No, but to win a chip, it's like that's a fair question about his legacy, but damn, you're like, y'all hired me to get a ring, not babysit. And where does it work at? Where have we seen it work? In Orlando, maybe you can take me back further. Yeah. Where we've seen it work, and maybe I'm missing it. Is that too much to ask? And it won't be needed with this Laker team.
No, definitely not.
Not. I mean, we're in a situation where Rondo believes that he can still play. And he doesn't want to take that back seat and be a mentor and kind of finish up his career here and kind of take that back seat. He wants to get in there. He wants to play. And, I mean, we've seen that time, like when he was with the Mavericks, the Kings, before he was with the Lakers. If we're talking about, like, is Rondo on his way out? Is he retiring? This was like –
See, as mature people say, Rondo don't suffer fools lightly. Rondo, I ain't trying to hear that.
Like I remember when him and Rick Carlisle, they got into it, cussing each other out on the sideline. Like Rondo is a really interesting guy, and he has to be in situations where he's around guys like high caliber veterans to where they kind of think alike. So because like if you disagree with Rondo, you're gonna hear from Rondo, just like you're gonna hear from Chris Paul. Just like you're going to hear from Russell Westbrook, guys that have been there before. So I think this is going to be good for him like it was last time. He's around guys that think like him. He doesn't have to break the game down as usual. Like he's just coming in, we're going to win and do what we did in 2020. So I think this is going to be a good move for them. And Rondo, like I said, doesn't really have to do much on that team because LeBron's got it he's at the top, AD is at the top. And he can just kind of fulfill his role as being that guy that comes off the bench and kind of runs the show like he did in 2020.
Yeah, and I'll use an explicit word briefly. Rondo's not with the fucking. He's like, I'm not trying to hear it, dog. He's like, I'm not fan. What do you think about, when you hear about Rondo coming back and just, and Terry broke him down like, hey, everywhere you go, it's not always smooth sailing. However, he wins chips.
It's not always smooth sailing, but he is the X factor for the Lakers. That the Lakers right now, and both of you have got to admit, have the most interesting roster. In the NBA. The most interesting roster in the NBA.
Sure.
And if you look at it on paper, if we can get the Geritol going, the Ben Gay smoothed on their side, they look unstoppable.
Yeah.
And Rondo is that, he's kind of slid back, but he's always been that piece of consistency.
Let me ask you this question. And you can chime in too, Terry. Is it that Rondo's also the LeBron checker, meaning he can check LeBron, he can tell LeBron about himself, he could go eye to eye with him and say no bet when a lot of players, I don't know who that player may have been in the past, who could check. I won't even say Carmelo can. Because he like, dude, you roll in the car with me. You roll with me. You can't tell me you ready to go. I got you here. I wonder if that plays a role.
Yeah.
I think that is important though. I think I'm stepping over Terry, but I think that he is that guy.
Yeah. You say I don't want to hear that. I'm not feeling it. Well, we'll keep an eye out and watch, guys, as we get to the very last segment, which is watching our players. And sometimes these numbers get out of place for me. Players 30 to 20. I know Aaron might be popping in, but Aaron did, in fact, send me his. So we'll start with his if he's unable to get with us right now when we talk about these final players. We'd love to have who was that? Who was the young lady that was with us last week? I'm drawing a blank.
Huh? Hopefully she can chime in.
Yeah. She brought some good stuff. I got somebody right now. This Roger Wilson. Rod said Lakers have no youth. Rajon will check LeBron and Russ. Ooh, it might be some furniture moving, Rod. He said LeBron and Russ. Like, hey, he like, look, man, we ain't trying to hear that right now. Hey, if you see Rajon Rondo coming with some gum in his mouth, you better walk away because it'll end up on your face.
Yeah.
So we talk about these. Aaron gave me his, and he shared. He had from 30 to 21. Thank you, D. Robinson. We gonna take it as David Robinson.
Yeah.
Pippen, Frazier, Isaiah Thomas, George Gervin, Rick Barry, Dade County Wade, D. Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, John Havlicek, and Stephen Curry. Stephen don't say nothing about my mama Curry. Okay. So what you guys think about those? When you hear those, Terry, what do you think about that crew? That was a great lineup that Aaron gave us.
I liked it. I like how because Curry's pretty high on. He's in this one for me too.
Okay. Wow.
I like that. I like that somebody else because I believe Curry's definitely a top 50. And I think he's definitely a top 30 guy. I mean, the best shooter we've ever seen in this game. He still has some work to do, as he said, for himself and kind of win one on his own. Just like he did in 2015.
Good.
So
let me ask you, despite his ranking now, despite how many more seasons he plays and whatever else he may do, will that be it? Yeah, Aaron's right here, right on time. Will that be the ceiling you think for Steph Curry?
I think Curry's getting in the top 15. I think he's going to go down as at least the top 2. I got him as top 2 point guard of all time right now. Top 3. Him and Isaiah Thomas to me are interchangeable. I really like Isaiah Thomas. I like Zeke, but I mean Curry has.
Who's the third person? Who makes out the third person?
I got Magic. Magic is. I got me, Magic, and then Curry and Thomas are about.
It sounds like. Hey, Orlando, did he say me? Did he say me? Hey, Magic and Curry.
I thought he said me.
No, I wish.
I wish. I got me. I think I got Curry. I love that.
In the alternative universe, I'm up there, but but I mean, I got Curry for sure. I like how he's high on the list. He's not that high for me, but I appreciate that Curry recognition though, for sure.
Yeah. So with that being said, how different is do you want to just go through your list?
Yeah. So I got 30. John Havlicek at 30. He was a player that I'm not really sure. I feel like I'm not doing him any justice, but I have 29. Alex English, one of the best
score. Okay.
Which might be a little high.
That made you cringe, Orlando?
But
no, Alex. I mean, it is what it is.
He's a scorer. That's all I think about when I think of him. Boy.
28. I got Walt Frazier. 27.
I don't like Walt Frazier.
I got D Wade at 27. 26. I got Zeke, Isaiah Thomas. 25. I got Curry. 24. I got Dirk. 23. Scotty. 22. Elgin, and then 21. Moses Malone.
Oh, big Moses. I love Moses, man. You and Aaron had varies about 70% accuracy with you guys listen with that.
It's because I'm not Patrick. See, me and Aaron we've always been friends on this show. Patrick coming for his next. See, we great minds think alike. You know what I'm saying?
And for the record, the SPS Edge Show did not pull a Rachel Nichols on Patrick and move him.
They got rid of him.
So,
Pass my dude.
I've been dropping in. I got my 20. So the Havlicek one is a bit low for me, but
okay.
That's
I don't think I'm doing him any justice. So
I'm
gonna discipline myself and do some more research on him, and probably down the road I give him a shout out or two.
But you know what though? At this point, you going off what you're going off of, and it's like it is. That's like somebody saying, "Man, taste this." What you think? Like I don't really like it. They're like, "Well, taste it again." Like, dude, it ain't gonna be too different. That's where you at with it. Orlando, do you have a list you want to share?
I got my list. I put one together. Patrick's not here, so I got to. Somebody got to rile Aaron up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Hey, well, see, you already said I appreciate you, Terry. Yeah. Now you got to brace yourself.
You got to brace yourself. Okay. No. It's very conservative. Number 30, Dwyane Wade.
Okay.
29, Adrian Dantley.
Woo! Hey, how would he hold the ball?
AD.
Hey, now you can. Now I'm just saying he can't be on that list with Isaiah because they're gonna fight each other.
In a minute. Number 28, Robert Parrish.
Ooh, the Chief. I like that. Yeah. Moses Malone, the Chief. I like these names.
27, Charles Barkley.
Okay.
And number 26, Kevin Durant.
Ooh. Isn't that low, Orlando?
Look here.
Okay.
You get in where you fit in.
Hey, okay. You better be happy that you made it. Okay.
That's right. Number 25, Allen Iverson.
Ivo, I love it.
Number 24, Ray Allen.
Yeah, Ray.
Number 23, Patrick Ewing.
Okay.
Number 22, Jerry West.
The logo.
And number 21, Reggie Miller.
Okay. It's funny. Me and Aaron are kind of hitting each other. Okay, he says Robert Parrish, but I'm saying Robert Parrish, but I don't know if we might be saying it for a different reason. Why have we not been hearing Robert Parrish's name in discussions that we have? And I also include Moses Malone in that too. So, Aaron, if you can elaborate to your question marks about Robert Parrish, I don't know if you like what's up, but like I'm feeling that, but like why haven't we been hearing his name?
I mean, Robert Parrish to me, I don't know. I just don't think that he's any better than the guys that I've listed before. And I feel like I gave those guys a pretty fair. I think definitely maybe top 60, 65, just because he was on that great team and he was so dominant. But
does him being on that great, does that potentially hurt his legacy because he was on such a great team that you almost can say any player or no player, with the exception of Kevin McHale and Larry Bird, obviously.
That's fair, and I mean,
because the Chief was the bedrock of that team.
Yeah. Look here, he was. You don't win. They don't win without him. You figuring over a career, he's averaging 15 points a game, 10 rebounds over his career.
Ooh, we got the beef going. Here we go.
Right. Over his entire career, and I'm pulling up stats left and right.
Hey, so with that,
inductee, he doesn't get the credit. He deserves more credit than what he's got.
Why is Reggie Miller?
He went to the trenches.
Hold on, but listen to what Aaron said before we go to Reggie Miller. Aaron said it's a slap in the face to Bob Lanier if you put Parrish that high. Wow, I mean, whew. We go. Hey,
different eras. I hear you, Aaron. Different eras.
Eras.
Hold on. I'm old enough to been at Olympia Stadium with Bob Lanier beating down folks.
Putting down
up into the stands.
Wow, that is something. Okay, I like what we got. Then also, I want to again come back around and do a special shout out to Moses Malone. I have an affinity to Moses Malone. One reason in particular, Scott Perry, the current GM of the New York Knicks, who's got Detroit roots. You know that. When he would see me play over at Joe Dumars Fieldhouse, he said I remind him of Moses Malone my post game. So of course I got an affinity. Oh yeah, back to the basket, back him down. But Moses is no joke, man. Moses helped Dr. J transition, and gone out of the back to the basket, big man's man. Shout out to Big Moses Malone, man. Wow, we had a nice little run with that, man. But so this Reggie Miller thing, was Reggie too high or too low? What's gonna be?
Tell us.
I feel like he was a little too high, in my opinion. But you know what? Reggie Miller is another guy that I feel like his legacy doesn't really get the recognition it deserves.
I agree.
And so, you know what? Like, even though I don't agree with that, I appreciate that. Just like Moses Malone, like people forget that these guys that we don't really hear about them, but they were so significant to the game of basketball. Like, think about this, like Reggie Miller. People are talking about Curry, Curry this, but it took Curry a minute to beat Reggie Miller's record. And so that just goes to show how great of a shooter he was. I mean, with that game at the Knicks, that is a winner's play. You hit the three and then you get a steal, even if it was like a perfect situation for him. But to have the presence of mind, like they said in that 30 for 30, to go back and take a three, like that is legendary instinct stuff right there.
And then let's just talk about the level. If we use the slang, the level of trash talk, the level.
Yeah,
the hype, dude. It's one thing to play, but the mental toughness. You in the Garden, looking at Spike Lee, a major antagonist. You know what I'm saying? Aaron said Moses was a beast in the ABA. Yeah. To that point about the Reggies of the world, you kind of alluded to that as we get ready to wrap up. This has been really interesting. I almost think that we have to watch more players play to go back and give accolades to a Reggie Miller and like, damn, now that I think about it, Reggie was a little bit, this or more. So it's almost like you got to look at, we're coming up 75 years of the NBA. It'll be, I hate to say, the 100th year, the centennial, the bicentennial, whatnot. When we'll say, the centennial, we'll be like, man, we slept on Reggie Miller. Who could be another name? I'm just gonna throw a random name out there that we slept on, that put up numbers or just was the focal point. But because of who they played with, the era they were in,
because if you just to interrupt, because if you look at it, I see Aaron, because if you look at it just statistically,
Yeah.
And go look at the statistics. Moses Malone is like in the top 10 statistically.
Wow.
In the NBA.
Okay, he says David Thompson, a name that's probably a perfect example of someone that you have to pull up the numbers to see. And then maybe we have to see other players and what they've done and go back and appreciate that. But I can appreciate us dissecting this, man. This has been a really good segment. I know it's been different. I know that the chemistry is always here with us because we started this, but we know we do miss Patrick. We do miss John, and we're going to work to get them back. But, Aaron, we appreciate all that you've done. I appreciate you guys holding it down. We are coming to the conclusion of this show. Everyone who stopped in and said hello is really appreciated. And we know that as soon as we close our eyes tonight, there's going to be a number of other sports issues to talk about. So with that, I want to thank Terry McCoy Jr. I want to thank Orlando Watkins. I want to thank Aaron Mays. I want to thank everybody who shouted us out. I want to thank our sponsors, Horatio Williams, Gilead Sciences, as well as Dick's Sporting Goods. And we got basketball coming, and Saturday we'll be at Harper Woods. You'll see more with that. Sure. So with that, Lindsey Hudson, SPS Edge Show. See you guys next time. Keep it funky, baby. Peace.
Right.